Hello everybody and welcome back to the crew SMP. Yes, the end of the last episode is in fact canon. I am invisible. Well, slightly. I'm transparent. Fun thing is that since I am transparent in the skin, my head, this was a thing done by me, Grazer, and Adeline. We decided to test to see whether or not my head would be invisible, and it in fact is. So, other crew SMP members, if you need a spooky looking head that's invisible, just let me know. Because apparently my head is now in slightly transparent. But that is not the focus for today. The giant thing standing in front of me, this is meant to be a pumpkin. Well, it's going to be a pumpkin. I don't know if I have enough materials to do it, but I came over here, Poltergeist led me over here, and there were a bunch of chests with stuff, and I was given blueprints for a little cafe. Now, this is a giant pumpkin with a little like sunroom off to the side of it. It's going to be fun because I'm going to have to build the entire thing. Outside of lore, I had to build this thing in creative. Let me tell you, it's a lot of blocks, and it's going to be all complicated to do this in survival, but it's worth it. It looks adorable. He's also a little bit stretched, fair warning, because I wanted to get him some creepy facial features, like kind of like a carved pumpkin. So he looks a little bit stretched. Sad to say. But he's gonna look cute at the same time. It's fine. Editor me, throw a picture in so people can see what the finished product is supposed to look like. Or at least the product I made in creative. So we'll see how close we can get in the end run. Also, I'm gonna try to keep my head down because other people that have been put inside the spooky area have put their builds, or starting to put their builds up. So I'm gonna try to keep my head down for most of this, to try and make sure I don't show off their stuff before they're ready for it to be shown off. I also have a bunch of these frog lights. These are going to come into play later. I'm debating whether or not to put some frog lights inside of the build, but you guys will have to tell me later. He has the derpiest little face. Oh, I love him. I've been debating putting frog lights like in these center bits, but we don't have like black trap doors for me to layer over the top of it. And I was thinking maybe those could be like the fire inside. Because typically these would be jack-o'-lanterns and you would have like lights inside of them. So I've been debating putting frog lights like in the eyes. Hold on. Let's, you know what, since we're in the survival, let's test. Because I did bring frog lights with me. I was going to mainly use them inside of here, but I kind of want to test to see how they look from the inside. There we go. Now this is a change from the original. Originally he has just black eyes, but I feel like the frog lights add like the fire inside. Makes him look a little bit more scary rather than derpy, which is how he looked before. He just looked like, I'll probably flash a picture up there, but he looks rather derpy. Just by his base original look. Okay, but I am going to finish building in the entire pumpkin. Okay, and there we go. The pumpkin itself is done. Now the stem doesn't really take up a lot of space. It looks better from up above than anything. It actually is pretty massive for a stem. Hold on if I can get back up there. But you can see it takes up a good chunk of the top of the pumpkin. Pumpkin stems are typically cut pretty small. Okay, now these walls are double thickness. This is for a reason. I wanted to do like some specialty windows. I went ahead and took it out, but that's because I'm going to show you guys what I'm doing. Give me like 5 seconds to grab some glass. Okay, so this back layer is going to be strictly glass. I may end up coming back through and doing like a few panes missing or so, but just to give you guys a demonstration, this piece is just glass, and then we do this, 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 and then in the center of these I have 2 slabs. These are technically full blocks, but because I want to make my blocks stretch a bit further and make them cover a few more windows, I went with slabs, because this is technically a block and a half, like a quarter, because 3 planks makes 6. You know what? Maybe I should have. You know what? We're just gonna do it, because this is how I did it in creative. We're just gonna do it this way. But these can be just substituted out for full blocks. Just this is how I did it in creative, so I'm just duplicating it here. And then surround these in trapdoors. So it's a little bit more of a 3D effect on the windows. Okay, second bout of going for resources. Now, the second set of resources I kind of went after were the internals for this and the roofing for this. Alright, then. Okay. Also, the brown carpet, I want to have patches of coarse dirt and podzol around. Like, I have a bunch of this stuff with me. Planned on putting some, just batches of it around. I do not want you there. Come here. So stuff like that doesn't happen. I want to put some light sources kind of just around. I'm definitely going to be putting in some of the trees that we have around. So the trees or the bushes or just something that we have around, because we have specific trees that we're going to be building around in this area. So I'm going to need to see about getting a few of those done. Because I definitely want one over in this area. I want a few over in this area. I want a few over in this area. And then a few more going along the path. This red line right here is letting them know I want a path up to this point. Because then from there, I'm going to connect it with the block palette that they use. I'm going to connect it up to here. So it actually enters into the pumpkin. Now, I left this hole in the center for a reason. That's where the light source is going to be. That's the reason I have the honeycomb and the honey blocks, is because I want to make a custom, like, kind of chandelier-esque type of thing to hang down into the pumpkin. Because this is kind of the internals of a pumpkin. So I want it to kind of be kind of gooey and gross, but not completely. We're going to be handling all the interior stuff in the next episode. But this episode, I'm mainly just focusing on the exterior. And there we go. That is one side of the sunroom's roof. Like I said, it's going to be completely fused into the pumpkin. I've still got to do this other side. But here is the side profile of the building. A very crazy pointy roof. Now this window piece is also going to be continued on this other side. And then I need to finish the flooring on the interior. And then I can consider the main building done. Okay, and there we go. That is the back of the building. Now I don't want to hover up too high because there's a build a little ways away from me. But there is the back of the building. And then the front. So it's basically just a huge mirror all the way around. Now I need to get inside and do the flooring. And then we will be done for this episode. Next episode, I'm going to be doing entirely the interior. I still love the addition of his eyes. Okay, and there we go. The floor and everything is put in. Now, I do plan on putting a lot of greenery upstairs, filling in like these holes that are next to this. Really finishing up the interior of all of this whenever we're doing the interior of the buildings in the next episode. Same within here, I'm going to be doing a whole hanging light and everything. Finishing off the interior so that we don't have to worry whenever we come in to decorate. But we're going to be finishing off the interior and doing some of the exterior. And by exterior, I mean decorating the exterior. So firefly bushes, trees, things of that nature are going to be going around the outside of the building. But that is going to be all for this episode. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye!